Green Lantern New Guardians number 25, written by Justin Jordan, art by Brad Walker and Geraldo Borges. So, last time was the Lights Out event where Kyle nearly died. He went through the source wall and then came back and was basically saying, "Oh, I've seen a lot of things, but I can't remember any of it." So the other thing that happened was in Green Lantern, just Green Lantern. Um, Hal made the decree that any other Corps that is irresponsibly using light, it is now a crime that the Green Lantern Corps will attack, more or less. So Carol heard this and went back to the Zamarans, and that's where we are here, where she's basically saying, like, yeah, Hal said that, but I don't think he knows what that means, and I think he's not exactly going to come after us anytime soon. And Zamarans are like, okay, but you still seem unhappy. And it's like, well, yeah, a lot of people were sacrificed in order to get the light back. I'm thinking we may want to change the way that we do things, you know? Maybe we shouldn't be using the light so recklessly. And the Zamarans are like, look, we get it, like, there was a lot of sacrifice on your end. I got it. But this is our duty. And then Carol immediately gets a call and she's like, hold on, just 1 minute. Okay, I got to go. Later. And she just flies off. And the Zamoran's like, I'm sorry, what? So at that point, many galaxies away, she's calling Kyle Rayner a jerk because he survived, obviously. And she's like, you weren't going to tell me you were alive? And he's like, I'm telling you now. It's like, no. The Guardians called me and said, hey, we need you to come to this planet because there's something about Kyle you need to know. They didn't say nothing about you being alive. And he's like, okay, well, I can't control what the Guardians say, but yes, I'm alive. So at that point, she gives him a hug and says, like, well, I'm really happy you're alive, even if it was, really rude of you to not tell me before this. So we get introduced to a new alien character. They're on this planet, and it's the whole plot of this book now. But they're on this planet, and we're introduced to a guy named Nyas Den Throden, which I'll call Nyas. And essentially, both Kyle and Carol were brought to this planet because, well, first off, Carol was brought in at Kyle's request because he doesn't feel like he can talk to Hal at the moment. He can't talk to John because John will talk to Hal. Obviously, Guy is off the table because he's a Red Lantern. And then, Sam Walker's in a coma. So he needs someone to be the buffer between him and the rest of the universe because he doesn't want to come back yet. And also, there's this thing going on this planet that the Guardians really want to get sorted out. And Nyas is basically the guide saying, oh yeah, come on, come check that everything is great. You're my friend. Let's go. So they walk out and they see this huge world that looks like it's covered in spiderweb mountains or something like that. And everyone's like, okay, what's up? And he's like, oh, this is Exurus. It's the greatest place in the universe. And they're like, all right, I don't see why. And so he throws himself off a cliff. Kyle and Carol are both like, Jesus, man, what's going on? But he manages to catch himself, more or less. And he says, no, it's not me. It's the city. Nothing bad can happen on this planet. It is a paradise. And so everyone's like, okay, what's causing this? And the Guardians come up saying, it's not the planet itself. There are these programmable molecules on this planet that are basically able to make sure no one ever gets hurt, and they provide nothing but goodness for everybody all the time. And at that point, Kyle's like, okay, well, I guess let's check out the planet a little bit. And he plays with some kids and stuff like that. And Carol's like, now hold up. When that guy just jumped off the mountain there, you hesitated before you went to jump in after him. Are you afraid to use your light? And Kyle's like, yeah, a little bit. After everything that happened in Lights Out, it's not infinite. We can run out. And she's like, yeah, but you can always just refill it. And he's like, can I? We had to kill almost all of the entities to make that happen. And I don't know if we can make it happen again. And regardless, I'm the only white lantern there is. So I really can't risk using up all of the white light. So yeah, I'm a bit torn here on what I'm supposed to do. And at that point, the Guardians come up and they're like, yeah, also that's kind of the reason why we're here. So we realize that the Green Lantern Corps cannot exist infinitely, and because of this light thing. We're looking for alternatives. And this planet was something that we knew about beforehand, but like now we're really interested in, because if we could get whatever's making this planet a paradise to every other planet in the universe, then like we wouldn't need a police corps, because it's paradise everywhere. And they are like, all right, so then what's the problem? Let's go ahead and start carrying it over. And they point out, well, here's the thing. Paradise is usually like a lot harder to get. Like this planet was on the same track as Earth about 10,000 years ago, and yet somehow they managed to get to this point before Earth got anywhere close. So we think there might be something more sinister going on in the background, and we want Kyle to basically go around and see if there's anywhere that's like off limits, because in a paradise there shouldn't be, and if there is, figure out what's behind that door. So Kyle immediately is like, okay, well, I can sense all the emotions, so I'll just focus on like fear and hatred and see where that is. And he senses that there is a major cluster of fear and hatred on the planet. And when he gets there, it's nothing but teenagers. And he's like, that makes sense. What better place for fear and hatred than a bunch of angsty teenagers? So they start making their way towards this building that all the teenagers are walking up to. And they're like, whoa, hold up, buddy. This isn't for you. You shouldn't be here. And he's like, that's exactly the words I was waiting for. Let me in that building now. And we see like an elder step forward Nas steps forward first. And he's like, whoa, hold up. We're not saying you can't go into the building. We're just saying that like, it's not for you. It is specifically for the teenagers. But like, yes, there is a reason that all there's fear and hate is surrounding this building. It's because that's what we want people to see here. That's the important thing. And Kyle and Carol are both like, this screams death cult, man. I swear to God, behind this, there's going to be like a concentration camp or something. I am not all for this, and I'm about to smash some heads. But either way, Kyle says, all right, well, whatever. I can handle it. Let me in. So he goes in, and inside, it's like a ritualistic place, but not evil inherently. And there's this giant broken mirror up on a pedestal that people are walking into and disappearing. And Kyle's like, whoa, hold on. That's probably sacrifice. Stop right there. And there's this elder guy who's like, hey, what right do you have to tell us to stop? And he's like, I don't know. I'm doing it anyway. You're hurting these people. And he's like, yeah, I am. I'm sorry. You expect me to hide it? Like, no. And he explains that this giant mirror is actually, well, I guess the better way to explain it is his plan. Multiple timelines with every single choice. One of them results in a better outcome. One of them results in a worse outcome. What they are doing with this giant broken mirror is that they are using technology to basically flip the outcome whenever a bad thing happens, so that a good thing happens in their universe as well. So yeah, they are making it so that this universe, this one they're living in, is always the best outcome all the time. And he says, and beyond this mirror is something that we force all of our coming of age children to see, so that they understand the sacrifices that have to be made in order to live in this paradise. And so Kyle's like, I swear to God, if there's a death camp on the other side of this wall, and he steps through the mirror, and on the other side is like literally hell. It is the entire planet, but it is burning, it is on fire, it is awful. And he's like, what did you do to this place? And it's like, we took away just one choice of theirs, just one positive outcome that they had that we didn't. We took their positive outcome and left them with the negative. And it's like, you've been ruining this timeline with always changing choices. Like, no. We pull from all the timelines. This one was just one choice a long time ago. But like butterfly effect, man, it ripples out and causes bad things to happen. And he's just like, so you're stealing every other timeline's potential future just for your own. And he's like, yeah, isn't it better to have one paradise and a bunch of like kind of sucky places? Or sorry, one paradise and a bunch of really sucky places than a bunch of kind of sucky places? And Kyle's like, no, that's not, you don't get to make that choice. That is not up to you. And at that point, dude gets impaled with a spear. And Kyle's like, oh, geez, all right, get back into the portal mirror thing. So he drags him back through the gate, and he sees someone else is coming through behind. And it is a warrior version of Nias Den Throden, saying like, hey, I'm here to take back what is rightfully ours, our future. And so We got two timelines converging on this planet because one of them was taking all the good things. I am a sucker for time travel stories. And I know this isn't technically time travel, but like it is time manipulation. And I'm just as much a sucker for that as well. So I like this concept. It's good. My only critique with this issue is that because it is such a complicated subject, they had to spend so long. And like, I know I've gone long just explaining it, but like, they are much more dense with their explanations here to make sure that you get it. And I understand that's needed so that we can just tell the rest of the story without having to worry about the rules. But like, it's dense and it's explanatory. It's just a lot. It's a lot going into this just first issue coming out of this event, the whole status quo change. I think we could have taken it slower, but we're doing what we're doing, and I still think it's a solid premise for whatever the rest of this is going to be. So all in all, I'd say this is probably I'll give it a 7.5. I'm really close to the 8, but I'm not, because it just, as much as I love the premise, they can throw it all away. They can make it stupid with the next issue. So I'm going to give it a 7.5, but like if I end up liking this arc a lot, that might be a revisionist 8, but we'll stick with what I gave it for now.